Hi everyone, this is Arcadius and welcome back to Naval Creed. Today we'll be going over the top tier French battleship with her new high explosive 6-inch secondaries. Now this ship is actually one of the few French battleships that actually benefits from having the HE secondaries. Now that doesn't mean she's as good as when she had the armor piercing 6-inch secondaries, because those still did a lot of damage, but high explosive does give her an added benefit that she can actually start quite a few fires with said secondaries. Now, the secondary suite on France is actually very similar to Jeanne of Arc. We have four twin 127mm guns on each side, and we do have the 6-inch on the center line, except instead of triples, we now have quads. So these are pretty nice as well. You get three extra guns, and the secondary range for this ship is 7.5 kilometers, which makes her really, really far in terms of secondary range. The only ship battleship at tier 10 that can outmatch her is Grossa Kurfürst or H-42, which has a range of 8.0 kilometers. Actually, what's Illinois? I think hers might be 7.5 as well. Yeah, so she kind of is matched with Illinois. But going back to France, the secondaries on the ship, they come in at an angle that's good enough that it'll come in and impact the superstructure. And so HE is actually a viable option for these 6-inch guns. And so, yeah, I mean, this ship is already one of the strongest ships at this tier. Not only are you fast, you have good armor, you have really good accuracy, your guns have really good shell velocity, they hit hard, your secondaries go out far, they set fires, and your AA is not terrible either. So I do have her set up right now as a full secondary build. I have been trying it out once or twice, and it's actually a lot better than I expected. So let's toss into a game and see what we can do with these HE 6-inch secondaries. Alright, here we ourselves the game. We have quite a few battleships, and some cruisers, and one destroyer. That's fine. It looks like a lot of these cruisers are light cruisers besides the cow, and so we should still be able to do a decent amount of damage to them with our secondaries. Battleships, we have France, or as I have the sister ship, it's Verdun. Two Centurions, a Monarch, and a Lion. Secondaries are going to be really nice against that Monarch. The best way to defeat those ships is pretty much just burning them, and so the secondaries do help with that quite a bit. Now I do have health buffs and speed buffs applied, so do keep that in mind. This is not the base ship. And let's start rolling. Alright, so I choose to use the gun reload booster on France instead of speed boost because, I mean, she's already fast enough, but she's also big enough that her maneuverability is impacted. And so going faster is only going to make it worse. And so having, well, a reload booster doesn't affect that, and so it also gives you an advantage when you have a nice little broadside. Alright, so we're just heading off to the side here, waiting for a target to show up. With my cruise skill and the secondary module applied, I think I can get out to 11 or 12 kilometers with my secondaries, something around there. So it is a decent enough range. We just have to get a little bit closer, however. Now France is always going to be one of the strongest ships at this tier. Doesn't matter if I'm in a battleship, cruiser, destroyer, or a carrier. I always fear a France on the enemy team, even if it's just a bot. That's just how strong they are. Destroyers have almost no chance if you get caught in their secondaries. Cruisers, same, and even their main guns can citadel you very, very easily. And then battleships, secondaries can light lots of fires on you, and like I said, those main guns, they're fast and they hurt quite a bit. So let's see if we can find some good targets for our secondaries here. There we go, we're already opening up. It looks like it's 11 kilometers, or just about so. And you can see the smaller 127s and the larger 152s already getting secondary damage. And look at the rainbow. The rainbow secondaries coming through. I won't even have to shoot this ship again. well, between my team and secondaries, she'll go down pretty quickly here. Look at that, almost 3,000 damage alone just in secondaries. Alright, let's start working back on these battleships. There we go, sunk with the secondaries. Got a reload booster on the Centurion. They also are pretty strong at this tier. Not as strong as France's, I would say, but still pretty powerful. Secondaries are opening up again on Verdun, actually. Let's move ourselves into a position that if we're shot at, we don't take a lot of damage. And see if we can punish the broadside of this Verdun. It's actually quite difficult to citadel these battleships, the battleship being France. It's not impossible, but I haven't exactly figured out where to shoot yet. Because I shoot the main broadside and I just get pens, which does damage, but I'm still looking for citadels here. Sometimes I can citadel them through the stern, like kind of at this angle, but not all the time either. Sometimes it ricochets. So they are very tanky battleships as well. Secondaries are still shooting. We're kind of getting a bit close, so we're probably going to be impacting the belt armor instead of the superstructure like I need to, but we actually are still getting a little bit of damage. Let's see. So that's a very strong angle, but I might be able to go through the stern. Yeah, 4 pens still. If you hit it just right and you shoot for the flattest part of the ship, there's a good chance you can still pen even at that kind of angle. So it looks like our secondaries are splitting their targets between what they can shoot at, which is fine. One thing about secondaries as well is if you double tap on a target that's within your secondary range, all your secondary guns that are available will try and shoot that target. However, if you have, like for instance, secondary guns on both sides of your ship, like France, only the secondary guns on the side that's facing the target that you selected will be firing. However, if you don't have a selected target, then all of your secondary guns will be shooting at whatever target that they think they can hit. So either you focus fire or you spread out your fire among both sides. As of right now, it doesn't really matter, so I'm just letting them shoot wherever they want to. And I think we're getting close to a time where I can use my reload booster again here. I don't know if I want to use it on the Lion or the Centurion though. Secondary guns are working over the Lion a bit. You can see we're getting some damage in the superstructure. And let's pop a reload booster and shoot the Lion. This ship is really good in whatever kind of role you want her to do. You want her to be a long-range sniper? She can do it. You want her to be a close-in brawler? She can do that too. You want to be like mid-range and use your main guns and your secondaries? Just as good. She's not the best against carriers because of her little bit worse. Actually, it's a lot worse maneuverability compared to something like Alsace. That ship turns on a dime. This one does not necessarily. I'm going to focus my secondaries on the Takao now because I feel like I can actually damage her. Oop, actually, that's a Monarch, though. And we'll be able to finish off the Takao pretty quickly, I feel. But Monarch still hurts. Alright, so, well, Lion did have quite a bit more health before we shot her, but that's unfortunate. Alright, secondaries, shoot where you want to shoot. What are you going to shoot? You're going to shoot the Monarch? Alright, cool. I'm not really doing anything to the Monarch, though. So we're just going to go back to the Takao here. Let's see if we can go through the nose. Nope. Just enough armor that it ricochets. That's fine. France has 17.5-inch guns. They're actually pretty powerful. They're not the biggest, and it's kind of an odd caliber, but they're still very, very, very dangerous. Alright, so the Takao is down. I don't know where the Tashkent is, believe it or not. I don't think we've seen her yet. So we're just going to let our secondaries work over this Monarch. I doubt they'll be able to do much damage. They're just going to hit the belt armor, but they might set a fire or two. That was a good salvo. And then we just have to find this Tashkent now. Right, so Monarch is down. And let's put our plane in the air to see if we can spot this destroyer. Might as well load HE as well, just in case. I don't even know where to begin looking for this ship. Um, oh, well, there's a suspicious looking smoke screen right there. So I have a suspicion that she's right there. Let's see, how is this smoke screen oriented? Well, it's not because it's gone. Well, that could have been from our Tashkent as well, I guess. Doesn't exactly tell us. Alright, so let's just see if we can find the ship. But yeah, going back to France herself, her guns are very good. They can deal all sorts of damage at close range with a reload booster if you want, or even at long range because of your shell velocity and accuracy. The ship does benefit from a full accuracy build as well. You do lose a main gun when compared to Alzus on each turret, since Alzus has quads. France only has triples, but you do get a larger caliber. So that is also an advantage you have. And shell velocity is also very nice. Reload booster, it's the only tech tree French battleship that can equip a reload booster. The only other ships are Joan of Arc and Richelieu, which are, well, Prism and Diamond ships. And I think we're actually going to win this game on points here since we have all 4 caps. So that's alright. We do have quite a few secondary hits, so we'll be able to see what kind of damages we are able to inflict. But yeah, her secondary suite is pretty powerful. Her AA, I mean, carriers are probably going to be your one weakness, since you don't really turn all that well. But I mean, you're still pretty fast, so you can probably outrun torpedoes if you have to. And so this game is just about over. We're just going to wait for a few more ticks here, and then we'll be done. Curious to see what kind of damage we did, because like we saw, we were engaging a lot of targets at longer ranges, and so it was coming in from the top and hitting the superstructure. So I'm expecting quite a bit of secondary damage. All right, let's see how we did. 331,000 damage, 1 ship sunk only, 114 shell hits, 2 aircraft shot down, 5 fires, and 360 secondary hits. Let me fix that. The secondary battery did almost 42,000 damage. And we didn't actually use HE for our main guns at all, so we also set 5 fires, which also did another 46,000 damage. So between our secondaries and the fires that they set, it's almost, well, it's about 88,000 damage. So you can kind of see how a secondary brawl or setup with France is actually a viable option. Obviously, you can just go full accuracy or gun reload and rotation. That's not an issue. 7.5 kilometers is still plenty far enough for your secondaries to be useful. But going full secondary and getting that 10, 11 kilometer range is also very nice and is still a viable option. So with that, that concludes going over the HE secondaries with the French battleships tier A and higher. And now, since they have all been released, we'll be starting to go over the British heavy cruisers, starting with Hawkins, and then going to County, Surrey, Albemarle, Drake, and then lastly, Admiral. So again, thank you for watching, and starting next time, we'll be going over Hawkins. Again, thank you for watching, and take care.